To say the world of the performing arts has been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic is something of an understatement. Social distancing has made business as usual impossible for theatre companies around the world. Broadway's shutdown in New York in early March was a sign of what was to come, with London's West End following suit on March the 16th after the government issued advice to avoid large gatherings. Since the beginning of the year, the curtains have been closed at theatres, opera houses, concert halls, ballet schools, even comedy clubs, bringing a multi-billion-dollar global industry to a complete standstill. In the UK, a statement from the Society of London Theatres said that theatres will be closed until further notice, but some won't be raising the curtains again. And it's not just the day-to-day performances that have fallen victim to COVID-19. Major international arts festivals like the Edinburgh Fringe, the annual Wagner Festival in Bayreuth, and even the once-in-a-decade Passion Plays in Oberammergau have had to be cancelled or postponed until next year. Tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people employed in theatres around the world have been made redundant, and billions of dollars in global box office revenues have been lost. And that's before we factor in the billions more that theatregoers spend on food, travel and other tourist activities on a night out. The UK government has led the way globally in its attempts to help the industry back on its feet, promising $2 billion in extra funding for theatres, museums and galleries. It's been described as the biggest ever one-off investment in British culture. But it stopped short of allowing indoor theatres to reopen. That's considered a step too far in these socially distanced times. The case for emergency support is compelling. The creative industries have been growing faster than any other sector of the UK economy, contributing nearly $150 billion in 2018 by attracting more than 34 million visitors. In 2019, the audience in London theatres alone was 15.3 million, nearly a million higher than New York, establishing London as the world's leading theatre destination. But even if theatres were to open, the financial outlook is still pretty bleak. The cost of a production is the same whatever the size of the audience, and the average theatre needs to play at well over 50% capacity just to break even. Some theatres, including Milan's La Scala and Madrid's Teatro Real, have already reopened, but only to smaller, socially distanced audiences. So it's hard to see how they can get back into profit. The concern now is that while the big theatres will no doubt survive, from London's West End to Broadway, from Paris's Comédie Française to Sydney's Opera House, smaller, more experimental spaces will not. And that can only mean fewer opportunities for the next generation of artistic talent and a far poorer cultural world.